Maud, say hi to everybody. Maud, say what's up. Welcome to today's video. You just doing it for the treats?
Just like you.
Yeah, where's my treats? Hey guys, we're back at the shop here at Ray Outfitted, and today we're actually going to pull out. Are we ripping it right out? Like ripped it like my. Okay. So the other day when I was here, I fired up the heater, and I've been firing that heater up like every week or 2 weeks all summer long because I just want to make sure that when I turn that thing on when it's cold, it's going to work. And in good timing, it threw up that, hey, I need some service kind of code. So the boys and girls and boys and puppies and kitties here are going to all help me today. Let's do it. I'm getting too old for doing that kind of stuff. Okay, let's do my heater. That was big fun little. All right, Rainer, what's the game plan? Sorry, man, I can't hear you, bro. How you doing, Rainer?
Good.
Does Cruzy need to have a woof pack? We like the treats, apparently.
Apparently.
Next sponsorship.
Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark is an online VPN service that encrypts everything that you do on the internet, meaning when you log online, it goes through their servers before it throws your connection out there into the world, making your time out there a lot safer. Nobody can get back in, hack into your system, take all your stuff, shut down your computer, and all the nasty things that hackers can do. But the best part about Surfshark is that you can spoof the internet to think that you're logging in from a different location. And that makes a huge difference when you're using services that are geolocated, like Netflix and Hulu, Disney Plus, and stuff like that, because there's better things to watch on there from different countries. Take Netflix, for example. You can't watch anything Marvel on the American Netflix, but you can in Canada. So you spoof the internet, thinking you're from Canada, and bada boom, now you're watching Marvel on the Canadian Netflix. They're offering you guys 83% off and 3 months free if you use my promo codes right down there that's all, folks, right down there in the description. Okay, back to did I just smack my mouth? Back to today's video. Well, here it is. There you go, sir.
Thank you. We are taking apart the heater to clean up the inside of it. Top shell slides off. Bottom shell slides off. Once we get the gasket off, bottom shell lets go one side, on the other side, off it comes. So we're going to take them off so they don't disappear on us. They're just little isolators to hold the heater in the center of the box. Because this is a gasoline one, it has one extra plug over the diesel ones.
Taking this thing apart, we get to see like inside the burn chamber and stuff too?
Correct.
I'm super curious about this.
Yep. Up, out, like that. So you can see in here, the atomizer screen is starting to come apart a little bit. It's actually in pretty good shape. And inside the burn chamber, that is nice and clean.
That's clean, dude. I've seen people pull these things apart and they were packed.
Yep, there's so much sediment inside that you can't even get them apart. So what we'll be doing is replacing this assembly, but because the flame sensor is still good, we'll keep that one. And then we'll try to get out the glow pin. And if it comes out, then there's a cheaper service.
Right here. That's it. That's all after 2 years of use. That's the soot that was in this whole thing. So I've obviously seen people that have done services on some of the cheaper versions of heaters that they've run, and they've pulled it out and knocked out like literally 1 cup worth of soot out of the inside of there after 6 months of use. And this thing, you know, it runs for a couple hours every day. Sometimes on a rainy day, I might run my heater maybe 4, 5, 6 hours on a winter day, maybe. But for the most part, it runs an hour in the morning, an hour at night. I stay warm in my bed otherwise. But if you take a look at this, that, you know, I could have probably gone 1 more entire winter with this thing before it actually really needed a solid service. That would be 3 years of use. Man, I don't know anybody out there that's using those other ones. There's some rare ones that last that long. I think there's like probably 1 in 100, or let's give them credit. 1 in every 50 that last the long haul. But I think a lot of that comes down to how you use your heater. I never run mine on low. I never get in the van, set it to like 15 degrees and just let it putter for the entire day, every day. I don't do that. And I know in the manual somewhere, you guys can read the manuals on your own. It does say that if you do run it on low, you should burn the chamber off, which means run it on as hot as you can for how long, half an hour?
Yep.
So yeah, run it for half an hour on high just to blow all the soot and get your chamber super hot so all that soot will leave the system instead of getting packed up inside of it. Where the way I looked at it, I'm like, okay, hold on. If I run my heater on a lower temperature, it's gonna soot up? That was my question to me. I'm like, well, if it is, seems like a problem to me, so let's just run it on high all the time. And I don't live in weather where it's minus 30, minus 40 every day where I need to run my heater for long durations. It runs until it's hot, and then I shut her off for the day and then turn it on before I go to bed. That's it. And yeah, I don't know. That's what I've always done. I run it on high all the time, never on a lower setting than what maximum is on my thing. And I think that's the key. That's the key.
So if you are going to use your heater on low settings, set it to a temperature and let it cycle on and off as it's needed. That's what we do. But what we make sure we do before we go to bed or when we wake up in the morning and we're packing up to move to the next site, we crank the heat, let it get really hot. We call them burn-offs. If you do them every day, we've seen people have similar success that Chrome has had. So it comes down to your preference. Chrome's success they probably could have done 3 full years without a service is pretty phenomenal for long haul traveling. That's quite ideal. But if you're like me and you're a little too skinny to stay warm by yourself, run the heater as you want, but just crank it high in the mornings, let it get good and hot, then turn it off, knowing that you'll be clearing out that chamber more.
So we rinsed out the inside to get rid of all the extra carbon that was in there. On the outside of the burn chamber, you can see we wiped all that off. That just came off with a light wipe. And then when you go to put it back together, make sure to get a new gasket kit because these ones are steel. They're technically reusable, but even in the service manual it says replace if disassembled. The reason for that is there could be a crack somewhere in it that you can't see. So we're gonna take, this is our big gasket, which is obviously for up here. So we're gonna grab our little guy, and that is going to align here. They always go blue side down. So there's our first one. Then the burn chamber drops in.
Here's part of the old exhaust. When it was being pulled out from up there, it didn't really quite cooperate, so that's gone to the side, and he's attached himself a new one. But if you look where they installed this, so Ray Outfitted did my install many years ago, and it's awesome because the exhaust comes out right beside my van's exhaust. So if there's any like steam or anything come out of here, because you know when it's cold outside you do see a little bit of it, when it comes out it's just by my exhaust, so it doesn't look weird like it's coming from somewhere else. And yeah, I don't know, I think it's just a really great spot to put the exhaust. This looks rather official.
It is the official Webasto diagnostic tool, so.
If you're ever on the road looking for service on a Webasto or S-Bar heater, you want to ask if they have the scan tool. Without the scan tool, they can just do trial and error repairs. With the scan tool, you get to see everything.
So here we can see how long Chrome has run his heater.
It keeps all the hours?
Yeah. So the heater has been on for 2,490 hours. So it's been at the top third of the heater for 1,679 hours. And it's been at the mid third for 451. And it's only been on low for 2 hours and 16 minutes. It has started 1,351 times.
Started this thing 1,000 times?
Well, that could also be like if you were running it and it shut down and then it turned back on. But yes, it's possible.
Wow.
You started 1,000 times.
Oh yeah, because I mean, like in the wintertime, you got a couple times a day.
Yep.
Well, that's really cool.
And you can see it's got 13. The temperature is 15 degrees Celsius right now. Here's obviously not on. Saying we have 4 faults. So let's see. We got a flame failure. We have a no start. We have a flame failure. And operating voltage too low. And then this is the one that you just had come up.
Yeah, and I know exactly where the operating voltage too low came in and stuff. That was at that minus 30 day where things just went, and I tried.
And your flame failure and start failure, those were 20 hours apart. So that would have been the one that you got when you were here.
It was really cool to see the diagnostic part of my heater, to know what my usage is like, how often I run it on high, medium, or low. The low setting was just this much. It was awesome to see that. But no matter how you run your heater, whether you read the manual and just do a burn off every day and you let the heater run on a medium heat all day long because you're gonna stay in your van for those long winter days, there's nothing wrong with that. I myself, I'm moving around, so I have my van heater keeping me warm when I'm in the front. You know me, I don't do a lot of sitting around, but if you are that person, make sure you do a burn off every day. Crank that heater to as high as it can go and burn it for 30 minutes to clean that chamber out. Or maybe if you're having a huge long day where it's running for 24 hours, maybe crank it up in the middle of the day every once in a while for 30 minutes just to make sure that soot is not building up and causing a backup inside of there. Because the last thing you want when it comes to running a heater like mine is you don't want it to fail on you in the coldest day of the winter, and that's when they're gonna fail you, and that's the truth. I've known so many people right in the middle of winter that bought the knockoff one from Amazon because it's $200 and they're like, no big deal, I'll buy another one for $200 and replace it. Great, if that's your thing, go for it. But they're also outside in the freezing cold on those days trying to change a heater in a parking lot, and they're underneath their van trying to get in there, and it's cold. At that point, they turned the heater on because they were cold. The last thing you want to do in those scenarios is to be lying out there in the snow or the slush or the rain or whatever's going on in your area trying to get some heat back in your home. So maintain your heaters, keep them running hot, and I think that's 100% the key. And also take their advice. If you're gonna buy a heater like mine, which is the Webasto gasoline one, or if you're bought an S-Bar or some of the other really good quality names out there, like Planner is another one I've heard of, make sure you take it to someone who is qualified to service. That way you know that they're actually using the manufactured parts for it. They're not using some knockoff part. And it's really cool to be able to see what your usage is like and, you know, getting inside the brain of that thing, which was really awesome. So thanks to the crew at Ray Outfitted for getting me all heated and nice and warm and ready for this winter. And yeah, you guys, stay warm this winter. And if you're looking at getting a heater, my suggestion to you guys is buy what you can afford. And remember, if you're on a budget looking for one of these dry air heaters, there is the knockoff one, but there is also some other companies out there that are mid-range on that. Instead of buying the knockoff, there's a few other brands out there like Planner. You might want to look into that one too. I don't remember. Someone told me there's another one. General, man, I don't remember. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.